Well, you know what? I sit home and I'm watching these games, and I always want to. I think, oh man, if we're gonna win, I'm gonna say this at the beginning. I'm gonna get all pumped up. I'm gonna fucking be doing this or that. And every time I do that, we lose, and then here we are, and I'm not gonna do any of that.
Well, I was saying this could be like the litmus test game. If we beat New Orleans down in New Orleans, it shows that the Bills are really for real. Well, it shows that the New Orleans Saints are for real, and so is Drew Brees. What a freaking guy. I wish he was our quarterback.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? Well, we left a couple on the ground. Was it 2 fumbles and a pick?
Yeah, it's hard to
Pretty much
overcome
that cost us the game. You can't do that against this guy. And as much as Lewis makes me feel like, Jesus, he's a pretty good quarterback. I almost wouldn't mind if he was the only young guy and we were developing him. That would be kind of okay if we had a veteran behind him. But with what's his name coming back, Manuel. It's gonna be. I guess we'll just start him, right? We'll just start Manuel.
You got to get the experience. You got to get the time. Every time he's behind the center, he does a little bit better. And the same thing with Thad Lewis. He's a undrafted, free agent that's coming in. That's had 1 game under his belt. This Drew Brees. He was an All-Pro in 2006 when he left. San
he's
Diego.
Playing almost 10 years or 10 years now.
Yeah, the guy's one of the all-time great quarterbacks. I mean, we're in the game the whole game. Our defense, gets put on the field after those turnovers and 3 and outs.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
And they did stop us. It's not like they ran all over us or threw it on us every time. We had a couple bonehead. Well, what was that one long touchdown? Jerry Hughes is the guy covering him. They exploited him twice. And they got big gainers out of it, and that's kind of
they're kind of rookie coaching. They take them to they take it to another spot. They put them in a spot, and they take advantage of them.
But you know what? I think you're always playing Drew Brees. He's going to score 25 points no matter what, and you can't turn over the ball. And also, your quarterback's got to make a couple more plays that he didn't make.
And there's always plays.
Overthrows,
they say that every week. There's plays left on the table. We left on the table. We left it on the table. Same thing with Fitzpatrick. I could have swore like a couple times early in C.J. Spiller's career where Fitzpatrick just misses him, where it looked like he had the whole field out in front of him. And the one that we're talking about today was the interception that he threw. Throws an interception. He clearly was kind of halfway in between 2 receivers. Doesn't hit anybody. But I'm thinking if he just lets it go as far as he can, he's got Goodwin streaking down the sidelines. Maybe Goodwin scores on that if he throws a long bomb, if he lets it go. Instead Goodwin's coming back to the ball. The guy seemed like he was wide open. That Goodwin, to me, he's just a great player. I love him. I want him to be one of our best receivers on the field most of the time. And I was saying to you in texting during the game, throw at least 2 bombs a game to him. Is that so much? Have 2 plays set up. We're just going to throw a bomb to that kid. He's one of the fastest guys on the planet. Let him run the ball.
Or put either one. You can put him and Graham on either side. The safety can only go to one of them, and then just pick one and throw it as far as you can.
And Graham went on a bomb, and it was terrible the way I was so mad at that Dan Dudroff. He's the best. Look at he's got the best coverage. He's all over him. Graham was clearly running half speed. He wasn't even sprinting.
I thought that same thing. I was like, why is he not running as fast as he can?
As he possibly friggin' can. He's supposed to be faster. That's where you just flat out outrun the guy. Regardless if he's trying to cover you, just outrun him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. He was running half speed. If I could have covered him on that half speed. Well,
then you got, guys like Johnson, who's clearly hobbling because he's got a big pair between his legs because he's injured and he can't. God. He still would get 5 yards off a guy. I don't know how
he had like 7 catches for 72 yards. So they're all really short ones, but God bless him. I don't care what anybody says. The guy's got a heart. He might be a little bit of a hot dog sometimes and have some problems, with his mind, and he, makes dumb things like, getting 15-yard penalties after scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, but he gets in the right spot, and
but
he's good.
But the guy's a gamer. You gotta like him. He's just a gamer. That touchdown he caught was just a beautiful thing. You can't cover him off the line. You just can't. He makes a couple of those 3-4 moves, and next thing you know, he gives himself a half a foot.
That was a good throw too to him.
Yeah, and he makes a nice throw. All of them seem to be high. That one was high off his fingertips.
Yeah, I think he's over because he is short. And he doesn't, he almost seems to still throw down. He's got a similar thing to that of Drew Brees, although if you watch it, and we don't get to play him that often, but you saw today, he does that weird thing where he, looks through the bottom of his helmet. Brees does. And then they say he throws like this, and he releases high. Our guy, he just has a live arm. He just whips it. He's just
They kept on saying
gunning.
that. Deerduff kept saying that. There's this replay that I got here. Hopefully, it won't be taken down. But on the fingertip catch by Goodwin, it was just like the guy. I didn't realize he's only 5'7" or 5'8". He's a short guy. He's
Oh
like
yeah,
going up
5'9"
there.
or something like that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just sort of, I don't know. That's how it goes. I thought the defense looked pretty good. The D-line looks good. I don't know. I guess we weren't supposed to win it, so what can you say?
Well, I think of 1987, and I still remember that as the year that we saw the Bills were turning around. They were 7-9 that year, and it was Kelly's first year as the quarterback, and they had the round table with Mike DeGeorge and Kilgore and those guys on Channel 2. And I just remember DeGeorge saying, at least this team, they're losing games, but they're in it. They're making us feel like we're competitive. They're making us feel like next year we're going to turn the corner. And I think, we maybe add a guy or two in free agency. Our quarterback has a year under his belt. These receivers, every one of them. I mean, I think T.J. Graham's our third pick, our third receiver. I don't think he's going to be third next year. I think this Goodwin's going to be. You got Johnson, and you got
Woods.
Woods,
who must be double covered because
yeah.
we didn't even see him really
And we
today.
still got Jackson and Spiller. So our offense seems like it's in place. The offensive line's holding up well. I think if our defense is just starting to get their feet underneath them, and they're trying to figure this defense out. And this is the first year they're running it. So next year there'll be another year into the defense, and maybe we can get a couple defensive players to fill in a couple of the gaps.
Another
maybe
strong
some
draft.
linebackers.
Another strong draft. Maybe another good inside linebacker, and then you get
And the quarterback's maturing. If that quarterback matures like they can, we could be dangerous. We could be dangerous.
Well, another thing too, and speaking of Drew Brees and how that happened. Now Lewis, I don't know if he's going to keep getting better for the next 3 weeks, and I bet Manuel comes back after the bye. That's what I'm going to assume, because we got another game and then the bye week,
and then
he comes back. That's probably what'll happen.
Yeah.
If that does happen, if Lewis is, if we can get a nice win next week at home, because we're definitely better at home. I mean, hopefully Manuel is strong the whole way.
Yeah.
At the end, and Lewis is a good backup. If he was our backup, I'd feel really good.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, well, screw it.
He's the
good.
kid. The kid comes. Yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing him in for a few plays here and there, and
or at least let him battle.
Oh,
that
I'm
tool.
saying if you get his bell rung or something, and you got to bring this kid off the bench. I don't know what Flynn's doing. They haven't started him yet.
Well, he's just there.
But they need to mature, and they need to mature into something. A strong player. And, I think he's got a strong enough arm, this Lewis, I mean, to make certain plays. And if they give him, right now, they're throwing the kitchen sink at him every freaking play.
Sure.
I mean, they're just coming after him. If he burns them on a few of those, like a real veteran quarterback does when they pick it up, they'll stop doing that. They'll back them off, and they'll start getting more time, and maybe, like you were saying, do a couple rollouts here and there. But yeah, I think the team's on an upswing. If we're looking at all these positives, the defense is better, the offense is better, the coaching staff seems to know what they're doing, except for throwing red flags on the field and taking away your timeouts.
Well, I think that was a touchdown. I'm kind of surprised that they called that back, but the second one was dumb. It was just dumb.
Yeah, and it was he was there. I was saying on that. You have third and inches. Chances are you're going to make it. You're playing catch up.
Are you talking about the touchdown?
Yeah, you need a timeout. So why take that chance that you're going to lose a timeout? Because you might need that timeout to win the game.
Especially when you ran it in the next play.
And then it was I think it was, I don't know if it was 31. Maybe we were going to get the ball back. But on the second one, it was the same thing. It was very difficult to see on the field. Our defense felt as though they stopped him, and so he threw the flag. And I think it was more out of frustration than anything. Hopefully the coach will mature and learn from that.
Yeah, we're going to need that. And, a great draft. We had a great draft this year. It's certainly showing up that Roby, even though he whiffed on, he had a stupid penalty, which that was questionable.
Well, Roby wasn't drafted. They picked him.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
they picked him, but he missed that interception. But he's still part of the rookie class. I mean, he's part of us bringing him in. And with him and Woods and Goodwin and Kiko and Emmanuel, hopefully he works out. I mean, it is a great draft. That's for sure.
If at the end of the day you said it was going to be, what was it, 34 to 17 was the final score?
35-17.
35-17. I would have been kind of disappointed. But the way we played and the way we held them to 64 yards with till 4 minutes left in the half, and of course then we gave up the long one. But I would say relatively happy. I don't know if there's any moral wins on the losses, but I could see improvement, and I'm hoping that, you know, maybe next year or the year after that, we really have a shot at that Super Bowl. We have a shot at least the playoff team.
Yeah, and hopefully all you internet fair weather fans stop, with all your just attacking the team, because if you actually had your eyes open, maybe you'd see that we're a little bit better than we have been for the past 5
I'll
or 6
make my
years.
prediction, although I predict them to win every week. We're going to stop the Chiefs. They're going to have the first loss next year in Buffalo.
Yep. Stopping in the Chiefs next week. Be there.
Okay.